start. Welcome to the first episode of CAPELESS SuperHeroes by Cactus Foundation India. I'm so thrilled to be a host for this unique, special, and distinctive show exclusively managed by the child warriors at Cactus Foundation India. I can't tell you, I feel so honored doing this. Capeless Superheroes is our means to honor the capeless superheroes in the world who are working passionately to create safe childhoods for children. Capeless Superheroes is our opportunity to get inspired and motivated to become advocates for safe childhoods in the near future. Capeless Superheroes is an attempt to acknowledge the thankless work efforts by these unsung heroes of who are working for children and to save childhoods. This is our way of thanking them for what they do for us. So, not all heroes wear capes. Our first superhero in this show doesn't wear a cape. She uses her pen and her superpower. She lends her voice to millions of kids through her books. She is an author, experienced early years educator, publisher, and blogger. She empowers children through hundreds of books and that she has authored. She is the lead author for children's literacy series Engage Literacy published by Capstone Classroom and has written over 120 books titles in that series. Please go check her Instagram handle and website in the box below to help yourself and your kids learn and unlearn concepts about body safety, consent, gender equality, respectful relationships, social and emotional intelligence. She is Jayneen Sanders, also known as Jaydale, all the way from from Australia, today. Hello, Jayneen, and welcome to the first episode of Capeless Superheroes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Seher. I am just so happy to be here, and to be the first one on your series is just such an honor. So thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to this.
Thank you. So Jayneen, my first question is, how are you and how was your day?
I'm very well. Touch wood. I've had a great day. What have I done? I've done some writing. I've walked my puppy and around the block. Paddy Mellon is his name, and I've just finished Pilates. And I've had a lovely day. I do what I love, so most of my days are absolutely fine. How about you? How was your day?
My day has just started because it's 1 o'clock here, so it's just started and it has to go in.
Okay. So hopefully you will have a good day as well.
Yeah, thank you. My second question is, I have read 2 books of you, My Body and What I Say Goes, and No Means No. How do you get these amazing ideas? They are like such difficult topics and you've simplified it like so beautifully. Each page has one sentence, but at the end of the book you can see that it has given so many learnings and messages to the reader. So I would love to know the process.
Well, I think the main thing is that I am a teacher. So I understand kids, I hope, and I still feel like a kid inside, even though I don't look like one. So I kind of can understand a child's voice, and I can put myself in your shoes. I can put myself in the child's shoes because I was a child once. And I try to speak in a language that is really simple and easy for children to understand, because there are so many complex things that we all need to learn about, but putting it into a simple way is very powerful and empowering for children. So I think I'm just very fortunate that I am able to do that. But with a teaching hat on, knowing what is my objective, like what is the reason for this book? What is the learning that I want the kids to have at the end, and the parents as well, because often the parents are reading the book with you. So there's a lot of things they need to learn and unlearn as well. So I'm just lucky, I guess.
Yeah, every adult in the world needs to put themselves in a child's shoes and see how a child really feels and be empathetic. So
Yeah.
amazing, Janine, and I really love your work. Now, I've observed that you've used thought provoking questions while writing your books, like My Body, What I Say goes. Each concept has a question, and there was one concept about feeling safe, and you've said, that when do you feel safe? It's so powerful, and I actually started to think like I actually started to think all the way to my horse riding class, and I was like, what makes me feel safe? So it's amazing, and I would like to know that how do you get so many beautiful ideas, and you know this concept of rhetorical questions is so good. So
Mm.
when have you felt safe, Janine? Can you recall us, like, in your childhood, when have you felt safe?
Ooh, golly. I always felt safe around horses, actually, too. I was brought up on a farm. So I was brought up on a farm, and my mother wasn't very well. She had a mental illness some of my childhood, and my father was really busy being a farmer. So I always felt very confident around the dogs and the horses. So I would spend a lot of time by myself, and I had a tree that I used to climb, and I would love to go up into that tree and just sit up there and think about things and let my imagination go with me and look at the clouds. So that is kind of being, I guess, with animals and in nature, I feel really safe in that way. So
Okay.
that's probably the safe place for me.
And what I this answer is really valuable to me because personally I feel safe around animals, around horses. It's just been
Mm.
1 year since I've started horse riding, but whenever I go there, it is another feeling with horses. And um, when have you felt unsafe in your childhood?
Mm. When have I felt unsafe in my childhood? Look, I think when my mother was really ill, and she was like crying a lot and really sad, and I didn't understand why, and I don't think anybody really told me why. So I think I felt very unsafe then, and I really did need an adult maybe to help me through that. So that was probably when I did feel unsafe. But I've never felt unsafe on a horse. I feel very confident on a horse because I started riding when I was 3. So I can just like, like I'm just I love it. So it's interesting, isn't it? Because I guess in a way, for me, now that I have 3 daughters and they're all grown up, but I have provided them with a very safe home environment with my husband and I. And I think if they felt unsafe, I think they would actually come to my husband or me and have a chat to us. So I have provided that environment now because I guess I didn't have that environment as a child. So, and
Every
I want to, through my books, I want to provide all children with an environment where they can talk about their feelings and, have someone who will listen to them and be their safe person.
Same with my parents. They're always standing behind me like pillars, and whenever I feel unsafe or I'm not comfortable in a situation, I have all rights to go and tell them. And I think this should be with all children. Every adult should give a comfortable space to a child to just allow that child and to allow that child to come and tell anything you want to tell that person and connect with the child. um
And if the parent isn't like available, like my mother wasn't or my father, then to have somebody else who's there to listen to you, another safe adult, is really important. And that can sometimes be your teacher or an aunt or an uncle, or a grandparent. I adored my grandmothers. So, yeah, I think having a group of safe adults for you is really important.
Yeah, for me, actually, even before my parents, I have my uncle. It's like he's my second father. So I feel that
Lovely.
way about him, and I can say anything I want to him. So that's the best part. So even if my parents are not available, I can go and tell my uncle
Yeah,
about it.
that's so important. Really important.
Now, my next question is: you have dedicated your entire career for this cause, for empowering kids through your work. In the initial days, can you share your experience when you just authored and published your first book? Any memory? How was the feeling like?
Well, the very first book was one of my children's readers many, many years ago. So that was really exciting. It was called A New Home, and it was about a little refugee girl who'd come to Australia from Vietnam and how it was learning a new language and being part of a new culture. So that was the first one, and that was really exciting. But the first book in my own publishing as Jayneen Sanders, that's the books up the back there, was Some Secrets Should Never Be Kept. Now, I'm not sure if you know that book, but that was a very, very important book for me because I wrote it about 12 years ago, around about the time you were born. And I wrote it because I'm not a survivor of sexual abuse, but I know a lot of people who are, and they really needed like a story told that they could unpack with their children. So I wrote that book because I felt that if I wrote a book, someone might listen to me, how important it is to teach preventative education around sexual abuse. I call it body safety. So I thought, look, I'll write a book and then maybe people will take notice of that because that is my skill. And so I wrote it in a way that is a fairy tale because it's just that little bit of distance, like it happens to that little boy, and we all learn from fairy tales, right? So that was a very important book for me and still remains so today. And it all kind of began from that book, and that we know that book has affected a lot of children, and we've had disclosures from that book. So
You
that's
are a real superhero, and how
no.
beautifully you have channelized yourself, and I can personally relate to this experience because my mom is a survivor, but she is not shy of telling her story to someone else. And I believe everyone in the world, whoever has been through this, child, adult, teenager, or even a senior citizen, can, tell their story and not be shy about it.
And have no shame because all the guilt, all the shame is on the perpetrator who did the abusing. So a child is never, ever, ever at fault. And I think they need to really know that they are a child and that all blame goes to the perpetrator. So it's very important to hear survivors' stories. You're exactly right. They're very, very brave and very courageous.
My next question is: how have things changed in the domain of body safety from when you began your mission till date, and what is the visible change?
Well, when I first started this journey with Some Secrets Should Never Be Kept, people just did not want to know about this conversation. They didn't want to have the conversation. They wanted to keep it buried. They didn't want survivors to talk. They didn't want people to do prevention education, which we know is very easy and very age appropriate. So it was really hard, and Some Secrets Should Never Be Kept. Nobody wanted to publish it and nobody wanted to illustrate it. So my husband and I, we took a loan from the bank and we decided to publish that book ourselves. And I was able to get an illustrator who said yes, he would come on board. And he says this book is his one of the books he's most proud of. So I knew it was an important book and nobody was talking about this. And so, but now I think we're having many, many more conversations. We're having parents who want to teach prevention education. We're having people who are talking about consent. You know, we're talking about the difference between secrets and surprises, and the sexual offender will try to get kids to keep secrets. So if we get rid of that sort of word secrets, you know, there's nowhere for them to hide. So it has changed a great deal, and I hope it continues to change. I hope it continues to change, that my books aren't even, you know, they're necessary in prevention, but they're never necessary for people to disclose, because every child is educated in body safety. And well past when I am gone from this earth, I want, you know, the next generation like yourselves, your warriors, to continue to make sure parents educate their children in body safety from a very young age, before that very first inappropriate touch. That's what I would like.
You're so inspiring. You share like so many good things with the world, and I believe in India we are at a stage where you started. So in India, no one wants to hear about this topic because they think it's something shameful. Even adults, even educated people, um, even literate people, they are like very shameful in about this topic, and it's this topic is like a taboo in India. So we still
I
want.
understand. I think your statistics are very, very high in India, and that's why I decided to gift my body safety, my body, what I say, goes to World Vision India, so that children who couldn't afford my books will also get this information through education and teachers and World Vision. So I know that it is a very, very big issue in India for sure.
Amazing, Jayneen. All of your work is hats off to you because you are an important superhero. So hats off to you.
As is the Cactus Foundation, as are you guys. Everyone is important in this space. Everybody who has a voice and everybody who is advocating for survivors and advocating for body safety, you're all superheroes, and we're all just part of the same vision, which is to protect children. We're all part of that.
Thank you so much. Um, my next question is: kids all over the world suffer abuse and maltreatment. If you were given the power of to change the face of this problem of child sexual abuse, can you share two action points that you would take to, tackle this issue on a global level?
The first thing I would say is that I would like every single school and kindergarten to teach body safety as mandatory. Just something that every single school and kindergarten across the world teaches preventative body safety education. Because, you know, not all kids are going to get this information at home. The second thing I think is that we do what we're doing now, which is talk about it, so that perpetrators know that we're talking about it and they can no longer hide in the shadows. Because what they want is for us to not talk about it, so therefore they can stay hidden. But the more we talk about it, the more we talk about the correct names for the private parts, what to do if you're touched inappropriately, there's less places for them to hide. So I think having these conversations worldwide, you know, in conferences, in forums, in front, you know, and teaching that body safety through schools in particular to children would be what I would want, those two things.
Amazing. We are personally trying Team Cactus, all the adults in Team Cactus. Before the pandemic, they were involved in field work. They used to go and educate children about this topic. But I have observed that some people who have, who are working for this cause, if they are performing the same thing, if they are teaching all the children about this topic, it's like it's not age appropriate. For example, if you're teaching a 5-year-old about good touch and bad touch, they will teach the same thing to ninth graders. So it does not make sense. But I believe that they should teach it according to the age. Like if you're teaching good touch or bad touch to 5 year olds, something should be increased for ninth graders. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, with body safety education, the stuff that I do, I'm starting from birth with consent and talking, telling the child what you're doing around their body. You're in their body bubble, but you're putting their socks on because that keeps their feet warm. And you're just starting through to probably to about 9. And then after that, you need to do body safety, but you also need to talk about puberty, and you need to talk about sex, and you need to talk about consent, and you need to talk about pleasure, and you need people not be ashamed of their genitals, and to know that, this is just part of your body, and to teach more about sexual consent. But that comes later, and that's not my area of expertise. I did do another book I'll just grab it for you, just a moment. Another book for World Vision India called My Body, My Rules. And that's for like kids around about 12 to 18. And they didn't have anything. So they asked me if I knew anyone who had a book. And so I wrote them this book. So they've also translated that one into 10 Indian languages and provided it for teenagers. And I don't know really if there are too many books in India like this, because the contents are, all about you changing feelings. Oh, you have it too. So I don't know. That is something to find out, whether there are many books like this in India, but I suspect not.
actually, the thing is, in India, they want everything for free. That's why, they don't want to buy things. They feel this is something, it should be given for free. It's not an important topic. But yeah, it's like so difficult. That's why we are not able to, take an action against it. And then we have to just do field work and hold workshops and everything free of cost. So that's.
But at least at least now in India, there is talk around this topic. There's not shame around girls getting their periods. Like, for goodness sake, all women get their periods, and men should know about it, and they should know, like, oh, you have your period, like, I'll get you a tampon or something. Like, this shouldn't be a taboo topic. It's part of our bodies. So I think, having that understanding around these topics, which your mother would have told you all about, is so important. Like, you'll go into adulthood with all this knowledge, so you can enjoy your adulthood and you can understand consent. So it's so much better to have knowledge. Like, knowledge is important, and if you don't have knowledge, it's quite dangerous, particularly around these topics.
Yeah, I feel India is improving, but most of the places I feel that they're still very ashamed about this topic. So it's hard convincing them to start talking. Yeah, so
it takes time. It takes time. And you'll be a warrior, and you'll probably be a warrior all your life, and it will take time, but over your lifetime, you will see change. And women in particular will be safer because of it. I think that's a really important point, is that we also need gender equality, because we don't want one gender thinking they have power over the other, because that's when consent is not listened to and women are actually in danger. So over your lifetime, I think this will change. It certainly has changed over mine. And even though I did grow up in a time where I think there was quite a bit of gender equality, like there was nothing I didn't think I could do. But I think because younger people are more sexually active now at a younger age, I think they need that knowledge much earlier.
yeah, like I've seen some differences, but in my own school in India, I used to see that I my parents have always allowed me to do whatever I want. Like if I want to um, do football, I want to play cricket, I could do anything I want. But I've seen in other people, in other girls houses, I've asked them that, why, let's come on, let's go play this, but then they're like, no, my parents don't allow me because it's something that boys do. And it is, gender inequality is there in every aspect of life, even color, toys. So it is really, heartbreaking to see that. Because personally, I play with dolls. So my brother is like, he sometimes gets interested and wants to play it. But
Of course.
yeah, so there's no wrong about that, right? So my mom will say, okay, you can play it, but I can see that if something like this happens in someone else's house, they would allow the boy to play, because they'll think that the boy will become girly, or will be more uh, you know
Feminine.
feminine. So
But see, this is the trouble. And this is what we need to break down in the future with gender equality, is that feminine qualities are not bad qualities. Nurturing, kindness, compassion. We want our men to be like that. They can be nurses, they can be caring teachers. These are feminine qualities. Doesn't mean you're weak. It means that you have all these lovely qualities. And too often we want women to sort of have a quality and be like strong and all that sort of stuff. But yes, we can be strong. Yes, we can be dynamic, but we can also be kind and compassionate. And so we're just human. And I think boys need to learn that they're missing out on so much by not seeing feminine qualities as strengths, because they won't talk about their feelings, or they think they have to always be the breadwinner and bring in all the money. Well, this is very stressful, and it doesn't help them. And gender stereotyping just adds labels to people, like girls do this, boys do that, and that restricts everybody's choices, life choices, and that restricts everything a person can be. So it's just crazy. And if you look on the internet, you see a lot. I see a lot of dancing, men dancing, like it's really lovely. So, but I've got this thing where, like, boys who twirl, I'm going to do something with this, but boys who twirl are men who dance. And that's okay, because, boys who twirl and enjoy all that, they become these amazing dancers as men. It's not a bad quality.
yeah, of course, it's actually frustrating. And Team Cactus Foundation believes that boys should make a change. It's not just about girls to, tell something about the violence or anything they're going through, but it is also on the boys to take a stand, because how much ever we create awareness, girls and women are trying to do something, but the boys are not, the men and boys are not allowing something like that. So it that is what is frustrating. And even if the boy, from a young age, the boy doesn't know about all of this, so uh, to the all of this, but his parents are teaching them the same thing. And even if the mom knows that it's wrong and nothing should be taught about that, but there is a pressure of her husband on her, right, that no, he should do the same thing. So that's why I feel there's no change till now. And I think, yeah, we had started a workshop like 2-3 months ago about key to change and raise responsible boys. We had 12 points to give it to boys, just dedicated to boys, to that they are the key to change this matter. So
They
yeah.
actually are. They actually are. And they're going to make, your generation is going to be amazing. You're going to have girls and boys coming through that are not just human. And you can become whatever you want to become. Your partner can be whatever they want to be, and that you come together with your child rearing together. You both bring up the children. You both do all that nurturing together. And I think you will see the change in time. But, India has a long tradition of really limiting women, not valuing girls, and, seeing women as very traditional caregivers. So it has a very, very long history of that. Even though you've had many women Indian leaders, there's still that misogynist kind of tradition, and that's going to take a generation to break. But with you guys on board, I'm sure you'll get there.
And it's not just about girls and boys, it's also about the LGBTQ community we have. They have a right to be respected, and I believe we are not doing that. Most people are not doing that. So
No.
uh, it's even if girls and boys are being together, they are living in harmony and there's no gender inequality. But what about the LGBTQ community?
Exactly.
They are human.
What about, absolutely. I mean, we have marriage equality here in Australia, which is amazing. Some of my dearest friends are gay women who have, like the designer who designs all our books, she's married to a woman and has a child. Like, this is pretty normal stuff for us here in Australia, and I know it is in Europe as well. So, I don't care. Like, people be whatever they want to be. That suits me fine. It's not a problem. But I think if you have a lot of religious traditions, that is where it becomes quite limiting. And so there's a lot of that to break down in some countries, for sure.
That's a beautiful mindset of, you don't think about who a person is, if he's LGBTQ or it's a boy
Nope.
or it's a girl. It's there should not be any you should not think about the gender. The person is a human.
Human. And I heard a podcast recently with a guy called Alok. Do you know Alok? Have you heard of him? And they, I should call Alok is they, and a queer person. And Alok says that we who make a binary of gender, who say boys and girls, we have the problem because we are not, the boys and the girls are not being who really they are, whereas a look is queer, but a look is being who that person that they want to be. Like he is free to be the person that she wants to be. Whereas we put labels on people and they're actually not being free to who they want to be. So she says we have a lot to learn from the queer community. And I think that's probably true.
That's true. My next question is, working with Cactus Foundation, I've learned that most adults are uncomfortable about discussing this topic about sexual abuse. But honestly speaking, I have this experience as in my school, my peers, my classmates, or the children of my age and above or even below are very uncomfortable talking about this topic. So how can we as children make a change, make our peers more comfortable in this topic? Because even they think, even in this generation, they think that it's something shameful.
Okay, well, the first thing I would say is, you're very grown up for your age, but most children are children. So when we talk about body safety, what I call body safety, we never say anything graphic about the actual act of sexual abuse. We just say, use the correct names for your body parts. You have a body boundary. If you feel unsafe, that early warning signs, tell someone on your safety network. And no one should touch your private parts. No one should show you pictures of private parts, and no one should ask you to touch their private parts. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. We don't go into the act of the sexual abuse because they don't need to know that. You don't need to know that in order to protect adults, to help protect children and empower children. So it is a very simple message, and that's where the age appropriate comes in. So when we say sexual abuse, it sounds really terrifying and scary, and you think of the act of the abuse. So for when I do my work, I talk about body safety. Just like water safety, just like road safety, we have this personal body safety, and these are the skills. And when you're teaching water safety, you don't say to a child, "Look, I'm going to drown, put you under the water, and then you'll know what it feels like." You wouldn't do that, right? And if you're road safety, you wouldn't show them any pictures of what happens in a road accident, would you? No, you just say, these are the road skills you need to know. Well, it's the same with body safety. You don't need to go into the act of the abuse, because that is just it's just not necessary, particularly with children. I think they just need the skills of empowerment. So they're in charge of their bodies, and they have the right to say no to anyone coming inside their body boundary. And I think that that's probably a good way to get your friends on board if you talk about, "I'm just going to teach you these really simple skills." Rather than the actual act of the abuse.
Yeah, that's amazing. My next question is, you have three amazing daughters, and Jessica Sanders, your daughter, is a budding author, and do you have any parenting advice on raising empowered kids?
Well, I do love having daughters, I must say, because I think women, it's been tough. It's tough for women. I can't go running in the dark. I can't go out at night, late at night. I can't, my daughters can't go to the gym in the clothes they want to wear because men might look at them. So it's kind of tough being a woman. And so I think it's time that men realize how tough it is for us because of them, because they are making us feel very unsafe. And there were some university students, and they were asked, the girls and the boys, "What do you do to keep safe?" And the boys said, "Oh, I never think about it." And the girls said, "Oh, when I get into my car, I have my keys in my hand in case I have to stab someone. I never walk on the street after dark. I always have my phone so my friends know I am." This whole big pile of lists they things to do to keep safe. So I decided when I had girls that they were going to be very empowered. So they've always had a voice. I listen to them. Now they're adults. I try to be there to listen. I don't tell them what to do, but I'm there if they ask me. And I think it's really important that just giving your children a voice and a choice. So, okay, what do you want to wear today? Your choice. We could go shopping or we could go hiking in the mountains. What would you like to do? Choice and voice. It would be my advice to raising empowered, particularly girls.
Yeah, that's important. Choice and voice, and we believe that it's not just for girls, like mostly for girls, but even boys should have this.
Absolutely. And yes, I guess I'm speaking from, I'm older and I've lived a longer life with the misogyny around me. And I don't want that for my daughters, and I don't want that for you, and I don't want that for your kids if you choose to have kids. I'm sick of fighting a fight. I should never have to fight just because I'm a woman. I'm as equal as any man. Like, I don't have to prove that, So I guess I'm thinking more in terms of women because I have the three daughters. But yeah, look, and also role modeling. Like I have a partner, Mark, who is a feminist. And so we brought the girls up together in this equally. And so they would equally go to him as they would to me. So I remember when Jess got her first period, she went straight to her dad and told him. She didn't even tell me, she went to him. So there was that role modeling of how we parent is very important as well.
True. Even my dad, even about puberty, both my parents sat with me and told me, the process and everything. So I think each child deserves parents like you
You,
and
like your parents, you have amazing parents, and you know, this is you're seeing what amazing parents are, and you're going to be, you know, you're going to grow up and do what you need to do in the world, and it's because of the great role modeling and the parents who are there for you and listen to you and give you choice and voice. So you will be able to, you know, make as whatever choice you like in life, and that'll be great. I wish all kids could have parents like that.
um do you remember any tough questions your daughters asked you while growing up, and what was your answer?
Ooh, tough questions. I guess there haven't really been any tough questions because I would just tell them, you know, like if I had my period, they knew I had my period. A bit like your mum, I think.
Yeah.
So I do remember when Isabel, my youngest, was very young, like she was about 6, and she was so silly about how babies were made and born, and she became all very silly about it. So I just decided, right, enough of the silliness. Here's a book. This is how it happens. Let's go through it. I'll show you the practicalities of what happens. And that was fine. And then she never worried about it after that. So
That's amazing. Who inspires you?
my daughters,
Oh,
my 3 daughters, they inspire me every day. I absolutely adore them. They are amazing young women. They're kind, they're empathetic, they're in careers that are making a difference. I never said for them to do that. Like if they wanted to be fashion designers, fine, or whatever. But they are in careers that do make a difference. And they just inspire me every day when they ring and tell me what's happened and what they're doing.
wow, amazing, amazing. Um, what is the role of your family in you being a capeless superhero?
Well, my family are just very important to me because, like I said to you earlier, when I grew up, I didn't have, it was quite lonely. I had a fairly lonely childhood, I suppose, because my mother wasn't available, my father wasn't available. So I've kind of built a life on my own. And I met my partner, Mark, when I was 30. So I was a little bit older. So I guess I built this family that just mean everything to me. And they're so proud of me, and I'm proud of them, and they encourage me all the time to keep on doing the work I'm doing, and they have my back, and they're always, I think they're pretty proud of me as well. And my husband Mark he's such a great man. I've learned so much from him, patience, and to own up to my mistakes. So I'm always learning. And I think that my family helped me to always be learning. And I think I will be learning until the end of my days.
We are proud of you too, Jayneen. All of us are really proud of you for the amazing work you do.
And you guys are amazing too. I'm
Thank
so
you.
I'm so happy to be on your on talking to you today. It's lovely.
Now we have a fun activity, which is
Oh,
the
okay.
flash quiz, and I will be asking you simple questions which you can just answer in one word, and it or you might need some explanation to do, and the timing will be 1 minute, and it should
Okay.
be really fast.
Okay.
So let's start.
Okay.
Okay, let's start. What is the my first question is, if not an author and body safety activist, what would you like to be?
A social worker.
Okay. Your favorite book that you have authored?
Ooh, my favorite book, probably Some Secrets Should Never Be Kept.
Okay, and name one capeless superhero creating safe childhoods who you truly admire.
One superhero that I truly admire. I really admire Holly Ann Martin from Safe for Kids.
That's amazing. Do you like cooking?
No.
And what is your most boring chore?
Cooking.
What would you prefer, yoga or swimming?
Yoga.
That's amazing. City life or countryside?
Oh, countryside.
Nah, even I love countryside, but we don't have that surrounding environment over here.
Maybe one day you can come visit me. I'm in the countryside.
I would love to.
And I have horses.
That's amazing. Um, so here we are in the last segment where you can ask your host. That means that you can ask me any question you want and I shall answer it for you.
Okay. Who inspires you?
It's actually a tough question because there are many people around me who inspires me, except especially my family, especially my mom, of course. Like
Yeah.
she has been through a lot in her past, but till now she is like so hard working. She's continuously working to create safe childhoods, and it motivates me to for me to work hard and harder and harder. So it's not just about Cactus Foundation, it's in other things too. Like my mom is a really good speaker, so I feel like I should make her proud by I should make her proud by giving good speeches and winning competitions, because she is a very kind soul, and I believe that I want to give her happiness in her old age by me being a responsible grown up. And it's like,
Just one thing though, Sahar, one thing. Don't put too much pressure on yourself,
no,
because don't put too much pressure on yourself, because I'm sure your mother is proud of you whatever you do. And if you decide that this isn't for you or something else is for you, I'm sure she'd be so proud of you anyway. So that was my question for you, is what do you do for fun?
um, I do horse riding.
Okay.
My
Well,
favorite.
that's good.
So
You have to have fun as well.
yeah. So I might be having fun if like if that day I have horse riding classes on particular days. So if I don't have it that day, and I will read, or I will paint, or I will sit and watch TV, or um, I will just roam around or play with my brother. I don't have anything that gives me fun in particular, but some of them are like reading. That's my second favorite hobby. So
I loved reading too when I was your age. I read every kind of pony book I could find.
my
So
parents are,
we have that in common with our love for horses. That's really, really lovely.
yeah, and I want to read more books about horses. Like at first, with experience to your book, I have read Harry Potter. I just finished Harry Potter, and I just saw your books, and I thought that it's such a small book, it must be for children. But when I read it, I went deep into it, and I realized, oh, this is super cool, and it is like whoever has published this, like I didn't know about you before, but when my grandparents came to Dubai, they just bought the books, and I was like, usual, just open the book and just read it. I don't care what it is. So after I read the book, I saw that you have written it, and my mom just said that I am going to interview you, and it was so exciting. So even reading or interviewing like authors like you will make like I will have fun doing that.
Wonderful. And you've done such an amazing job. Like, I feel like I'm you're just so articulate, and you are so you've just done the most amazing job. So I feel incredibly honored that you have interviewed me, because you're fabulous at it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So much to learn and unlearn with this interview session. And I would like to thank you for coming here and being part of this Capeless Superheroes by Cactus Foundation, this series of episodes. And it is an honor to interview you in particular. And the real outcome of this interview would be when we sit and reflect all the amazing things that you've told us. And in particular, I've learned so much from you with interviewing you and your answers. And it was very fun listening to you while you were answering your questions. And it is also about practicing all the tips you've given us and to put them in place and achieve safe childhoods. And to all the people who are listening this, you can purchase Jayneen's books, so because they are amazing, totally out of the world, I would like to
No,
say.
I mean, the main thing about the books, I think, Sahar, is really just that is to keep children safe.
Yeah.
That's what's in my heart, is to always, every time that I write these particular books, is to keep children safe and to give them that voice. That is why I do what I do. And it's plus I also have fun doing it. So I love my work. And plus it's so nice to think that you might be keeping a child safe. So I'm very grateful that I'm able to do this work and I have the skill set. And I am very grateful that you interviewed me today. I love what Cactus Foundation does. Your mother is amazing.
Oh
She's a
my.
beautiful woman. And you are equally so lovely and beautiful too. So thank you so much for having me today. It's been amazing.
No, thank you for allowing us to interview you. You are so special.
Everyone's special. Everyone is special, Sahar.